Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. This will be a wrap up of day 2 of Capital Audio Fest. My outfit for today, I went with smaller skulls tonight, but more little gorillas. And then let me show you the back. It's a Marilyn Manson jacket. Can you even see it? Anyway, it was a hit. Well, at least for some people. I got a lot of pictures taken tonight. But it was a ton of fun tonight. The takeaways from day 2, again, sound quality wise, is anything blowing me away? No. But today blew me away in another respect in terms of budget rooms. But before I get to the budget rooms, which were the takeaway, and especially open baffles today, that were promising. One speaker that's in the cost no object category, of course, is the Acoras and the MBLs. Those are always in the Estalons. Blanket recommendations. You've seen me recommend them thousands of times. Magicos and all the, no need to, you could do that again. You know that's a given for me. But Chroma Atelier, I think that's how you pronounce it, has a $250,000 speaker. So if you're in that cost no object budget, it was very impressive today. And anecdotally, several people came up to me. I engage a lot of you guys, and it's been great meeting you guys. That's one that consistently came up. I really like that room. Now, getting back to what impressed me today, or the theme of today, was mainly open baffles and budget. Now, before I get to the open baffles, probably one of my contenders, I think I even said in the description of the video, for Triple Crown, having best performance and sound, best value in terms of economical, and then best music played. So that one right now, for sure, Odyssey is in that ballpark for the Triple Crown. Klaus does it again. Great room, great gear. The price on those speakers, $5,900. If you go in that room and nobody tells you how much those speakers are, even before you listen to them, then once you listen to them, pretty incredible compared to, again, benchmark that in any other room. Then the amps, $2,700 a pair for monoblocks. Come on. So he's still doing it as he's done for 30 plus years. I've been going to shows, always providing value and high performance. And then he picks great songs. He picked the Keith Grenager, Looking for a Home, as you saw, really great song. And so, again, can't say enough about that room. And anecdotally, a lot of people that do get in there, and especially get the sweet spot, have told me they love that, and I can't believe the price. So again, starting with budget, this is a show that if you look hard enough, you can find them. And I want to say a thanks to a lot of the vendors at this show, because one reason I do this stuff is to help the industry. I get nothing from these videos, and my style is to upload as soon as I leave a room. And oftentimes when I record in the room, there's music playing. YouTube takes all the money. I get no value out of that. But it's thanks enough to me that I'm getting emails from smaller companies saying thank you for coming into our room, showcasing us, and not just focusing on the big guys or ones that get all the views and whatnot. And to me, that's, I don't choose based on anything with YouTube metrics. I choose based on what I feel I'd be interested in. And so today I was very interested in, I'm always interested in open baffles. And I showcased one yesterday, the Mako new speaker, granite, very thick open baffle, similar to maybe spatial audio in terms of design, but even more narrow and contoured, and granite has a lot just from a visual perspective that I like better than the spatial look. And then they offered to do a private demo after hours. It wasn't so much private. A lot of people were able to come in and listen in the monoacoustic room that shared it after hours, and I got to hear them. And again, they had like 10 minutes to set it up. One speaker didn't even match the other in terms of aesthetic, but at least they gave you a chance to hear and sniff the potential. And for the price that they're offering, because it's a new brand that's launching at 40%, I think you have to go back to my original video to watch that. I think it's in the video from Friday. They're offering a discount right off the bat. So people that are taking a risk with a new brand, they are giving you quite a good deal. And I don't remember what the retail price is, but when I calculated in my head, I remember that's a pretty good deal for that type of cabinet, open baffle, quality drivers. What I heard didn't blow me away per se, but again, in those rooms set up in just a few minutes, a couple songs, I think it's one that worth looking at. And I think some other reviewers are going to have it. I think Thomas in Stereo even commented on one of my videos, said he's getting a pair, and he's a very trustworthy reviewer, so I would take a look at his review when he gets it and see how he puts it through its paces and how much he likes it. I think it has some potential. But also, some of the other open baffles today were, again, not mind-blowing, not something I would trade for what I have at home, but what I have at home is not just the GR Research and Extremes alone. I have a dedicated room, all kinds of advantages, as I've said. But Pure Audio Project, I think I mainly didn't even do music clips in there, but I thought it was very informative to hear Jeff give a talk about open baffles and his theory and his design goals, and some of the things are very important that he talked about, takeaways of why open baffles and why he likes to design things the way he does. It still may not be your favorite open baffle, but at least you understand his design goals, and if it syncs with you, then that might be the perfect open baffle for you. One that I thought really was a good open baffle for at least my taste and line source was the Diptyque. And the Fidelity Imports, before I even get to that, Fidelity Imports is one of my awards for the best dealer at shows, because he puts 9 rooms together at these shows. It's hard enough just to do one room. I saw what it took for Edgar to set up one room. He has active speakers in the box, that's it. But to calibrate it, get it all set up, that's a lot of work. So for him to have 9 rooms, and he does it again in Tampa, you got to give props to dealers that'll put everything on the line. He doesn't just have open baffles. He's got box speakers that are cost no object. He's got the Unison Research, the Q Acoustic, that are definitely at different price points. And quite frankly, I did listen to their $50,000 box speaker, and it was nice. But quite honestly, I like their Diptyque model even better. At least the potential I was sniffing from it. It still wasn't the perfect room, and I wasn't in the perfect spot, but it was giving that acoustic wave that you sometimes don't get from Maggie's, and you didn't feel like you were missing anything. And if you put that in the proper room set up and all that, I think that Diptyque at $17,000 would be a legitimate contender for other either open baffles or box speakers in that, because I thought it was even outperforming much higher priced box speakers in the various Fidelity Imports room. But what was really cool is super budget options, not just Odyssey, which I think is still super budget at $10,000 or something, but you've got even further down the line, you can go with the Q Acoustics and the Unison Research Integrateds that Fidelity Imports offers. Nobody would know when you look at those speakers and the quality electronics, Italian made, that those are less expensive than these bigger rooms. And certainly from the sound quality perspective, yeah, it may not be the most refined, the most dynamic, the most you can get performance wise, but certainly at that budget profile, you're going to start off really happy and not discouraged by the hobby, and not discouraged with your purchase. When you go listen to other rooms, you're probably going to say, I'm not that far off, and I didn't spend 6 figures like a lot of these other rooms. So again, that's been a takeaway today, is open baffles, budget rooms. I'm probably forgetting some, but today that was the theme. Open baffles, budget rooms shown today, and Odyssey and Chroma Italia at the extreme points, Chroma, and then the lower points. Now, there was one Consonus that I think you should watch that video. It's an open baffle with a sealed box base, and everything he was talking about resonated with me, because he believes in doing things the same way that I kind of did, a hybrid open baffle dipole base for mid bass and up, but then sealed box for quote sub purposes. And he's an acoustician, engineer, and was very convincing. He didn't have to convince me, but he was explaining probably even better than I've explained in the past, why that hybrid approach works so well and how much his approach is similar to Linkwit's. So if you like Linkwit speakers, which again are among the best open baffle, Consonus is now one that probably would give you somewhat similar performance, somewhat similar comparison. I don't remember the budget profile. I think the Consonus is much more expensive than the Linkwit. So, but different cabinet structure, you know, the Linkwit's is kind of polarizing looks wise, so you're going to have to decide cost and value versus aesthetics, and steel box base versus open baffle base. Again, there's just a lot of material today that had to do with open baffles, which have always been my favorite. And I think the most important point that was in one of the talks today, I can't remember who exactly said this, but basically an open baffle, you're used to your room and how it sounds. Well, guess what a speaker that's an open baffle is? It's using your room to reproduce sounds. So in a lot of respects, it's just a factor of that's what you're used to. On some metrics of measurements or whatnot, there could be some anomalies and differences that people could argue better to do the box speaker. And I would agree with you that that could be preferable, easily preferable. But when you are using the cabinet as your room, especially for not super low bass, you're kind of used to how your room sounds. You're used to human voices in that. So when you hear music in that room, even if you have room issues, you're already conditioned to it. And you're not adding another level of coloration from a box, coloration from the drivers playing also in your room. So it kind of was a very poignant moment to help me explain to you guys why open baffles sometimes are preferred to somebody, even if you can argue objective metrics may not be quite as good, you know, in an anechoic chamber or theoretically. So again, this is a great show to compare and decide. There's no one right answer. One of the takeaways for today, talking to other YouTubers and all the drama that's been in the hobby, is that sometimes it just comes down to people hear differently. You know, why argue? Why create drama? Why be insecure about it? At the end of the day, our ears are all different, and that's what Edgar shows in the Bach room. I really haven't talked about Edgar today, but it was a huge hit, and people are talking, raving about that, and lots of orders. 8 weeks is the current wait time on audios and Bach for Macs, but most people are getting surprised with it earlier. Again, if you've had a demo and you've coming through me, make sure you go through me to order, because I can get you grandfathered in for the ORC, optimal room correction, and some other things. But getting back to my point, what in-ear measurements show is same gear, same room, different people are in that same seat. Their measurements, frequency response, measured differently. And Edgar has figured out a formula for addressing ear pinna for even different frequencies, how it hits your ear, and what psychoacoustically we like better. And so he's got an advantage in that room from just a tonal balance standpoint that a lot of other rooms don't have. And so a lot of people go in there expecting very dramatic spatial cues, but really a big takeaway is the optimal room correction for frequency response, making it more flat and more pleasing. So feel free to do that. And one other thing I will tell you in the Bach room that's very important, and you can ask him to do this, if at any point, because this is the most common criticism I get of the Bach, is that, oh, it's too crazy, it's too gimmicky, it's too much, I can't think of enjoying that. Well, that's fine, but what you're saying you're enjoying is not what's on the recording. Because what we could do in that room, and Edgar has shown this multiple times, if you question it, we could turn that room into a recording studio where you put the in-ear mics in your ear, and then he will clap and talk to you right in front of you at 12 o'clock, then at 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then behind you at 6 o'clock. So you will be at the recording. He records it while those microphones are in your ear, then plays that recording back after your ears are out on the front speakers. And then when you hear where the voices are with the Bach, you realize whatever you're saying you don't like, well, you're saying you don't like what's real, because now you know you were at the recording, you heard where those spatial cues were, and it's reproduced with the Bach better than without the Bach. So at least you're knowing that what you're liking is real, and what you're not liking may be something that's not real. And again, there is a bypass button at any point if you want to do it on some recordings or not. But just wanted to address the most common criticism or concern people have on the Bach. But again, go in there. Feel free to let Edgar know when you go in there that you know me, you follow my channel. He'll try to get you up there as soon as possible. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed. I'll be back tomorrow with a lot more.